What's going on, guys? Your boy Amazing here, back with another video, and in today's video, guys, we are here with the Bird Demonic Beast battle, and I'm going to be going over my Holy Relic priority in terms of the best Holy Relics that you guys want to be making on your Grand Cross account. If you guys enjoy videos like this, man, definitely make sure to hit that like button and subscribe, as we are on the road to that 50,000 subscribers, guys, and we recently hit that 47k, and we're only about 300 subs away from that 48k, guys. We've been growing like a ton, man, so I definitely appreciate all the support, and make sure to hit that like button, subscribe. Now, with that out of the way, guys, let's hop in, and let's go over pretty much every Holy Relic from the bird, and I'll give you guys my thoughts on the Holy Relic itself, and whether or not I think you should be making it. So what we'll do, guys, at the very end of the video, I'll give you my main recommendations for the Holy Relics you should be making. But for this whole first part of the video, guys, we're going to go over every single Holy Relic, and I'll give you guys my thoughts on the relic as we talk about each of them. So starting off with the Brawler Bond here, guys, the first Holy Relic that we got here. This one's actually going to provide the hero's damage dealt to enemies by 25%, and this is going to be a on-field in all content Holy Relic. Now, this Holy Relic would be good if any of the bonds are actually good in the game right now. The only usable one is going to be Ragnarok Bond, but the thing is with him is he's a backline support character. So at the moment, I don't necessarily think that this is going to be a Holy Relic that you guys want to be prioritizing. Definitely in the low priority in terms of Holy Relics for this one. Moving on to the next Holy Relic, guys, we got the Nunchuck Bond. So this is going to be Nunchuck Bond Relic. If a critical strike occurs from a hero's attack on an enemy, the hero's attack is increased by 10% to a limit of 5 times. Again, guys, same thing with the Brawler Bond. None of these bonds are really good right now. And I'll be honest, until we get like a LR for any of these characters, this Holy Relic is going to be very low priority right now, because you're just not going to get much use out of the character itself. And so that's why the Holy Relic is just not inherently that good. I mean, the effect on the Holy Relic actually would be good on a character that is strong, but because, you know, these bonds, as I mentioned, are just not really meta right now, or just not really even good, it's just not worth making a Holy Relic for that type of character. Moving on to the next one, guys, we got Purgatory Bond Holy Relic. Now, this one's gonna increase the hero's max HP by 15% each time an ally dies. Now, this one's very niche, guys, in the sense that, like, if you're running Purgatory Bond, it's only really gonna be for the stats of the relic itself. You're not really gonna be using it for the fact that people are dying, unless you're in a PvP setting, which Purgatory Bond right now is just not good in PvP, guys. You know, let's keep it a buck. So at the moment, I don't think this is going to be a high priority Holy Relic. You know, it's just not going to be good enough. If it was giving you some type of buff on field, like before an ally dies, then it would be worth it maybe, right? Because then, you know, if you're going to be using him in whatever content you are, it would be more valuable. For you to be able to gain max HP, you have to have allies die. I think that's a little bit annoying, guys. So yeah, and then also Bond is just not really good right now. So yeah, not going to really recommend Purgatory Bond's Holy Relic overall. Moving on to the regular Lilia, guys, we got the Holy Relic effect of the hero recovers 15% of diminished HP when a debuff is removed from the hero. Now, that is a fairly, you know, alright Holy Relic effect. You know, you get diminished HP healing, and the debuff will be removed, so you get cleanse and healing. Now, the problem is, the only Lilia that can benefit from that is the blue one, and right now, she is kind of, you know, not the greatest, guys. I'll say that. So, again, it's the same situation with the bonds that we just talked about. Just not really a really high priority relic, just because the characters are just not really good right now. Moving on to LR Lilia and the Christmas Lilia, guys. We got a pretty good Holy Relic here. It's going to increase the hero's base stats by 10% for every debuff effect on the enemy, limit of 5 times. Now, this one's definitely in like the middle tier of priority, because I do think that LR Lilia does benefit a lot from this Holy Relic, and same with Christmas Lilia too. But the main thing with this, you know, character that is kind of the issue is that, you know, Lilia is just not really a really good character right now in the game, guys, in my opinion. You know, you're not really using LR Lilia in anything. If you are, it's maybe gonna be like Chaos Battle, some like niche you know, PvP content, but this is a good Holy Relic overall. Like, you're getting 50% basic stats. That's strong, right? It's just depending on the type of fights you're doing. You know, I'd definitely say it's around the middle in terms of priority. It's not like super high recommendation, but it's definitely better than a lot of the other Holy Relics we've already talked about for sure. But yeah, at the moment, guys, I wouldn't say it's a high priority Holy Relic to make. Definitely in the mid-tier priority. Now, moving on to the next Holy Relic, guys, we got the regular Arthur Holy Relic. Now, this one's going to be a very, very good Holy Relic, guys. This is definitely in the high priority, in my opinion. Now, it's going to apply an effect which decreases all enemies' defense-related stats by 20% for 1 turn at the start of the ally's turn, and it's going to apply when entering battle. So, pretty much how it works is it always, every single turn, is applying that defense-related lower on the enemies. And that is very, very valuable in a lot of farming content, and the main Arthur you're going to be using for that is going to be the green Arthur, where he already is providing a damage dealt, damage reduction effect. So I think actually this is definitely one of the higher Holy Relic priorities, because you're going to be able to use this in a lot of farming content, and Arthur is already buffing your team in terms of damage dealt, damage reduction, so you get that, and you get the 20% defense related lower on the enemy, which allows you to run more like weak point centric teams. And yeah, it's just really good for farming, guys. So definitely in my higher priority in terms of the Holy Relics from the bird. Alright guys, now moving on to the next Holy Relic here, we got the Excalibur Arthurs. Now for Excalibur Arthurs Holy Relic here, it's gonna, if the hero survives with HP less than or equal to 20%, it's gonna remove debuffs from the hero and fully restore HP, and this is gonna be limit of once. Now this is definitely a middle tier priority Holy Relic, guys. You can definitely use this in content like Heroes Arena, and if you're maybe running in Chaos Battle. In general PvE though, you're not really gonna get too much benefit, because I don't think either of these Arthurs are really good in general PvE. If you are running this Arthur, is for backline support with HP, you're not actually running him on field, right? So that's kind of the thing with those Arthurs specifically right now, is that I just don't think they're really the greatest. But the Holy Relic effect is good. Like if you're playing like PvP and you're using this character in like Chaos Battle, you know, if you're in a Heroes Arena setting, definitely a really good Holy Relic, because you get the full heal, and that could definitely help you in situations like that. But right now, I'd definitely say it's in the middle tier priority. Moving on, guys, we got the Eastern Holy Relic here. So Eastern's Holy Relic is going to increase the hero's attack by 10% of all enemies attack in PvP. I'm going to say this one's a skip, guys, and the main reason why, and it's low priority, because none of these Easterns are good right now in PvP. And why are you going to make this Holy Relic if none of them are good in PvP? It's just not going to work, right? So just not going to be as strong. None of them are really viable right now. So yeah, I think this is going to be a very low priority Holy Relic. Moving on, guys, we got the regular mono Holy Relic here. So it's going to inflict corrosion damage on the target equal to 20% of max HP for 1 turn. And if the hero's attack against the enemy, and then also it's guaranteed crit pretty much on the enemy. So that's actually not too bad. The only thing about this is that you're only really going to get the benefit in PvE content, I'd say. You're not really going to be able to use this in PvP, because none of the monos are good right now. But this blue mono is definitely really good in PvE content for like single target damage. So yeah, I mean, you could definitely see some value. So I'd say this is probably like mid to low tier. The only thing is you're not going to be really applying corrosion on the enemy, right? And you need the corrosion to be able to get that guaranteed critical strike. So, you know, again, it's not going to be, you know, super insane, you know, in terms of like using it in PvE when the character is just not good in PvP anyway. So you're not going to get too much value out of it, guys. Now moving on to the next Holy Relic, you got the LR Escanor and Red Escanor Holy Relic, guys. So this one's going to increase attack by the value equal to 50% of the hero's defense at the start of the battle. Now this one's actually solid. It's just kind of like a stat stick for LR Escanor. You know, you're getting a lot of, you know, attack based on your defense. So running like an HP defense set means you get more damage, which is actually pretty good. Or even an attack defense set, you're still getting the extra damage. I think overall this is actually a fairly good Holy Relic. And LR Escanor, for what his use case is, mainly would be like PvP or PvE speed running content, right? You're really using him only in speed running for like demonic beast content, right? And he has double single target, it's good, and this Holy Relic definitely helps. So I'd say he's more not high priority, because I wouldn't recommend chasing this Holy Relic, but I definitely think this is more like a middle to high tier Holy Relic, because it is valuable, and LR Escanor does gain a lot of, you know, benefit from it. So I'll give you guys that. It's kind of in between, you know, the middle and high priority. Moving on, guys, we got the one Escanor's Holy Relic. Now this one is going to be a free skip, guys. The hero ignores 30% of enemies defense when using skills in PvP, applies before skill activation. That's just not going to be good enough, guys. In PvP right now, the one Escanor is just not good. You're not going to use him, and so, you know, that's going to be a very low priority Holy Relic in my opinion. Moving on, guys, we got the Gowther Holy Relic. So this one actually has a chance to be fairly solid. Now, for what it's going to do is it's going to increase allies' basic stats by 1% every time the hero uses a buff or debuff skill. Now, this is dependent on the type of skill you're using. So, like this Gowther right here, it has to be a straight-up debuff skill. It cannot be a debuff attack skill. So, Green Gowther's AoE does not count for that basic stat buildup. So, again, it's mainly going to be only from the rank up or from the, you know, the debuff AoE that blue Gowther has. So, you know, the value in this Holy Relic, guys, is not the craziest, but I mean, free basic stats for the team is nice. Now, this is going to exclude PvP, deathmatch, and then debuff attack skills, as it says right there. So you're not going to be able to use this in deathmatch. You're not going to be able to use this in PvP. So the only real benefit you're getting out of this would be for like farming content, or maybe even some demonic beast content, because you can technically use this in demonic beast as well, up up to a 10% basic stats. I mean, it's not a substantial amount of basic stats either, so overall this is definitely in the middle priority in my opinion, guys. You know, if it was giving more basic stats, then definitely higher, but yeah, I mean, it's just not providing enough to warrant you actually making the Holy Relic versus some other Holy Relics on this list. Moving on, guys, we got the Merlin Holy Relic. Now, this one's going to increase the hero's attack by 20% when attacking a debuffed enemy. Now, this one's actually fairly solid. If you're using Merlin, this is pretty good. You're going to get the main benefit out of this in probably a lot of farming content, or maybe even like, you know, like SA Coin Dungeon or something like that, right? Where you're able to apply a debuff on the enemy and then do like a single target hit, or, you know, whatever the case, and you get that 20% attack. But overall, like Merlin again is just not really a strong character. Maybe in Chaos Battle, she'd be good with this Holy Relic, you know, applying that debuff and then dealing the extra damage. But overall, guys, just gonna be a low priority Holy Relic in my opinion, man. You're just not really gonna get too much benefit out of this unless it's in like a Chaos Battle setting, which, you know, at the moment you're still probably not gonna even take advantage of. So yeah, definitely in the lower to like mid priority, probably in that range. All right, now moving on to the Awakened Eastern Holy Relic here, guys. Now this one's gonna be if the hero uses a skill to deplete the enemy's ultimate move gauge, the hero recovers 10% of diminished HP from each orb removed. Now this one's all right, you know, nothing super crazy with this. You have gauge reduction obviously with both of the Eastons here. This one has it through, I think, this AoE skill right here, right? And then the other one has it through I think it's the single target. Yeah, so you have ways to actually take the gauge of the enemy, and then you do gain HP from diminished. But the thing is, you're not really gonna use this because none of these Eastons are good on field. This one is more of a backline support for human team, and then this one's just not gonna be, you know, super valuable, maybe only on like a 7 catastrophes backline support. So again, guys, like these would only be for stat sticks, and at the moment this Easton's just not good, so definitely in the lower priority in my opinion. Moving on, guys, we got the regular Merlin Holy Relic. Now this one's going to be a backline supportive effect. Activating the sub slot increases unknown race allies damage dealt by 35%. Now that is a fairly good chunk of damage dealt. The problem is that none of these Merlins are really viable right now as backline supports, other than maybe, you know, the Great Mage Merlin, right, for gauge. And it would just be for the field gauge that she provides. Overall, you're not going to really get too much benefit out of these damage dealt passes, where you would rather have more of like Nanashi's Holy Relic, where you're getting basic stats, right? Damage dealt is nice, but you're not really getting any, you know, you're not getting any tankier. You're only really dealing a little bit more damage, and these Merlins are very, very low CC right now. So yeah, just not really super viable in my opinion. So definitely on the probably in the mid tier Holy Relic, right, middle you know, priority, because this Merlin can definitely benefit, and you can run like a Fraudrin team in a sense, right, where she gives you that gauge, or even like some type of ult rush team. So there is some viability with it, but overall not the greatest priority, guys. I'll say in the middle right now. Moving on, guys, we got the True Seeker Merlin. So this one's going to decrease all enemies max HP by the value of 100% of the hero's attack. Now this excludes deathmatch, but this applies to everything else in the game. So PvP, PvE content, you know, that is valuable, right? Decreasing all enemies HP by the value of your attack. The only thing that sucks about this is that you're not running any of these Merlins on attack crit damage gear or attack defense gear. You're just not. You're running around HP defense. So you're not going to get too much benefit out of it overall. But I do think that you could definitely go for this relic, because this Merlin is viable on Rat right now. You know, she has her use case, and you know, this would technically work on the right. Like, you're gonna lower his maximum HP, which is pretty valuable. So, you know, actually not a bad Holy Relic overall, you know, with the use of that Ragnarok Merlin. So definitely in the mid to high priority range, depending on if you're gonna be using that Merlin or not for Ratatoskr, because that's the only real thing you're gonna get a benefit of at the moment in the game for this character. Alright, guys, now moving on to the regular Roxy, we got our first Holy Relic that just gives stats. So it does not have a special effect, but greatly increases the basic stats of the Holy Relic. So, you know, again, guys, this is just gonna be a stat stick Holy Relic, literally just a stat stick. Is that good for this Roxy? I mean, it's okay. You know, none of these Roxys are anything special, so just getting that stat stick for CC I think is alright. More of like a low end priority Holy Relic, just because you're not gonna really benefit in terms of like a passive effect. The only benefit you're really getting at this would be more box CC overall, because you're getting a lot of combat class. That's 3 characters that are getting like maybe 5k CC increase from this, which is strong. So that's like 15k combat class for those 3 characters alone if you own them. So yeah, definitely valuable in that sense, but overall, guys, definitely a lower priority relic just for using it on your account. Moving on, guys, we got the regular or no, this is the Awakened Valenti Holy Relic, right? This one's actually pretty good too. So if a critical strike occurs when an enemy attacks an ally, the hero's attack increases increases by 8%, limit of 5 times the plasma entering battle, and excludes the deathmatch. Now, this one's gonna be, in my opinion, a higher priority holy relic. The reason why I say this is because this Valenti right now is the main unit for the Ratatosker, right? You're using this character for Rat. This holy relic is gonna give stats, and it's gonna provide you with increased attack, so she does more damage in the fight, and you're gonna be getting crit on with your team overall. It's gonna happen throughout the fight, and so you're gonna probably build up that 8% to the maximum of what is that, 40%? I think it is, right? 40% max. So that's actually a fairly good chunk of attack you're gonna get, and will boost her damage overall a fairly good amount, guys. So yeah, man, I definitely do recommend this holy relic, mainly for the stats for Valenti, but it is valuable, and so I would definitely say it's in the higher priority in terms of the ranking there. Now moving on to the regular Valenti here, guys, we got fills the hero's ultimate move gauge by 4 orbs when an ally dies, and it's going to apply when entering battle. This one's okay, more so a one that you would use if you're running her backline in a kind of like chaos battle setting where you bring her out, she gets the 4 gauge, and then you kind of top deck an ultimate if you get a natural merge. That could be okay, but overall, like, it's not going to be anything insane. You're really not going to take advantage of this. Maybe if you're using this green Valenti on a, you know, kind of like a Chad King, you know, resistance team, then sure, but no one on your team should be dying. So again, it's kind of a counterintuitive relic, but yeah, I mean, there probably is some use case for it, and again, in like chaos battle, but again, guys, low priority in my opinion for this holy relic. Moving on, guys, to our highest priority holy relic, it's going to be Megelda. This is a given, guys. This holy relic makes the bird very, very easy, and you need this holy relic, in my opinion, to do floor 4 bird. You need this relic, guys, so you have to make sure you grind this for your Megelda. It's gonna give you cleanse for your team, gives you a bunch of all stats. You're able to stack up to the maximum of 40%. It is very, very valuable, and in my opinion, the #1 priority in terms of a holy relic. So we got the high priority, which is, you know, the other ones that I mentioned, but this one is definitely the #1 that you should be making first before you touch any of the other holy relics from the bird, guys. It's very, very important. Moving on, guys, to the next holy relic, we got Sigurd here. Now, Sigurd's holy relic is going to be at the start of the battle in PvP, increase the hero's basic stats by 25% of the basic stats of the enemy with the highest combat class. This is going to exclude basic stats increased by unique or buff effects. So this is just going to be your raw stats pretty much that you're going to be scaling through. And yeah, it's all right. You know, none of these Sigurds right now are on field in the front. You're only running the green one in the back line. So when he does come to the front, he will actually benefit from that holy relic. So you could definitely argue this being actually fairly solid. So I'd say it's definitely in the mid tier right now, not something that you're gonna chase towards right now. But if you have Sigurd, then I mean, yeah, this green one especially, it's gonna really buff his damage potential the moment he comes out, because you're getting that extra 25% basic stats of the highest CC enemy, which usually is gonna be like Milam or, you know, Lancelot, or these very, very strong characters in PvP. So yeah, definitely middle tier in my opinion, guys, but a very solid holy relic at that. Moving on, guys, we got the Brunhild holy relic. Now this one's actually very, very good. Only 1 debuff can be on the hero and increases the hero's attack by 20% when debuffed. This holy relic is very strong. You know, having only 1 debuff on the green Brunhild allows her to not be able to be, you know, stacked with a ton of debuffs that she would be getting in Demonic Beast content. And this Brunhild is really, really good in Demonic Beast, right? She has a bunch of basic stats she gets. She gets you know, all stats when allies die, which, you know, is not as important. She mainly is benefiting from the basic stats with on-field allies. But yeah, overall, she is a really good unit. Detonate, you know, power strike rate overall. Yeah, just a strong character, guys, with this holy relic too, only being 1 debuff you can get, and your 20% attack when you have a debuff on you. That is very, very valuable. So definitely, in my opinion, the mid to high priority. I wouldn't say it right now it's in the highest priority, but definitely a solid one to get, and will, you know, probably help you out in a lot of Demonic Beast related content. Moving on, guys, we got Gowther's holy relic. Now this one's going to increase attack related stats by 25% for 2 turns when the hero's ultimate move gauge is completely filled. Now that is actually a pretty strong you know, holy relic effect. You know, it is a great buff attack related stats as well, and people used to abuse this on the Skull and Haughty Demonic Beast battle before it was even, you know, remotely clearable. You know, at the time it was very, very hard to clear, and getting that extra 25% attack related stats kind of was felt. And Gowther already is kind of a supportive character where, you know, he's giving you attack related stats, he's giving you max HP, so it is a really nice buff that you're getting on your relic. But remember, it's only 2 turns, and when you have maximum ultimate move gauge filled, and you can kind of rush your ultimate to do that. So it's mainly more of like a Demonic Beast thing. And at the moment, is he really that good over other teams in Demonic Beast? Probably not as much, but you can definitely get some value out of it. So I'd say it's definitely in a middle tier holy relic at the moment. Not something you're going to be chasing, but definitely a very good one at that. Moving on, guys, we got the Jenna Holy Relic. Now this one's going to increase attack related stats of human allies participating in the battle by 12%, and this is a backline supportive effect. Now that is the most amount of attack related stats you can get as a backline for humans. And also this red Jenna right here, guys, is actually providing extra attack related stats. So you get, you know, what is that, 10 plus 12, you get 22% attack related stats, and you also get a damage dealt lower on the enemy pretty much, or damage taken debuff. So that means they take more damage, you know, when you have someone die on your human team, which is actually pretty valuable in PvP. And I actually do see the value in that Jenna. So yeah, I mean, you know, if you're running this red Jenna as a backline in PvP on your human team, a very good Holy Relic. Yeah, so definitely in the mid to high priority, depending on if you own that red Jenna. If you don't own red Jenna, I wouldn't say this is definitely like anything crazy, because you have like regular Ragnarok Bond passive, which is pretty much as good as the Jenna Holy Relic alone. So yeah, not like a super crazy high priority, guys, but definitely mid to high depending on if you own red Jenna or not. Moving on to Zaneri here, guys. Now this Holy Relic is kind of funny. It increases your basic stats of human allies by 2% up to 20%, and for each debuff removed from allies with the hero skill use, when debuffs are removed from an ally, they are healed for 5% of their max HP for each one that was removed. Now the reason why this is a funny one is because she has a skill with the cleanse where you're not getting any healing on rank 1, you only get healing on the rank 2. So now you do gain healing on the rank 1, but it's not enough to warrant you running this character, guys. Unfortunately, the heal from this is only 5% of your max HP for each debuff, and it really is just not enough when we're talking about characters that are doing way better heals than this character. But it is nice because, you know, you get basic stat build up as well, up to 20%. You know, you're getting the cleanse and you're healing your team too. So it's not a bad Holy Relic. It's definitely mid tier. But you can use, you know, this Zaneri is kind of like a substitute healer. It's just a little bit scuffed and kind of hard to deal with, in my opinion. So yeah, definitely middle to low tier for this Holy Relic. Not super insane one, but it is good. It is good. You know, just providing that heal on the rank 1, which is okay. So, and the base stat build up as well. So moving on to Hawk and Oslo's Holy Relic. This one's actually a very good Holy Relic, guys. It's just 15% HP from the backline. So, you know, just raw 15% HP. That is solid. The reason why this is actually solid is because this green Oslo Hawk provides defense. So you get defense and you get HP from the backline. So that is not bad, and actually very good on Chaos Battle. You can run it on a Naofumi defense team, you know, on a Baldur team. So yeah, I mean, it actually is runnable in PvP and can be used. So I would say this is definitely mid to high priority, depending on if you own the green Oslo and Hawk. It definitely, you know, matters on owning him or not. But yeah, I mean, you know, 15% max HP, not as crazy as like Alar Liz's Relic where you're getting 15% HP related, but definitely still strong. You get 15% HP, and if you stack that with that 50% defense from the green one, green Oslo Hog, it actually is pretty good. So yeah, guys, definitely a mid to high priority depending on if you own this character or not. Moving on to Alioni here, guys. Decreases the hero's damage taken from enemies by 40%. In my opinion, guys, Alioni is going to be an easy skip. This guy is a R character in the game, and your only real value from Alioni is going to be from his base passive where he's giving attack related stats. So you're not really worried about this Holy Relic. It's just kind of there for Alioni. Now moving on to Twigo here. Twigo is going to apply an effect on the hero for 2 turns, which increases HP related stats by 30% and taunts enemies at the start of the battle. Now this Holy Relic is actually very good. I would actually say this is a more higher priority Holy Relic if you're someone that runs more of a alt rush type team with like Fraudrin, and you want to have a turn 1 taunt. This is actually pretty good, guys, surprisingly. You know, you'd be shocked, but this actually can work. So I actually would say this is probably mid to higher priority if you run Fraudrin and alt rush teams. Like if you're running Milim, you could do Milim, you know, yeah, you could do Milim, Twigo, and then Fraudrin, and then when Fraudrin dies from like an AoE and Milim actually gains the gauge, then yeah, I mean, that would be pretty good, right? So you could have kind of something along those lines. So yeah, definitely a really strong Holy Relic. It's just Twigo's kind of a older character and a R unit at that as well, but he is providing 30% max HP too in his passive for the red characters. So you know, you can definitely get some value out of that. But yeah, I would say right now, guys, definitely mid to high priority if you're running alt rush in PvP or not. Moving on to Jillian's Holy Relic here, guys. The hero recovers 20% of max HP at the start of the ally's turn if the hero takes damage. It's actually a very good Holy Relic for Heroes Arena, surprisingly, guys. I know a lot of people actually used to use this back in the day in Heroes Arena, and I still would probably say it's still viable, you know. If you're taking damage, you're healing that 20% back. I think that actually is very good. So definitely mid priority, but if you are running her in Heroes Arena, you know, more of a higher priority one to get because it does give her stats and you're healing off of taking damage. Moving on to Marmas here, guys. Marmas is going to fill the hero's ultimate move gauge by 5 orbs at the start of the battle. Unfortunately, the way this works is that you only get the ultimate the turn after. So it's not actually as insane as it sounds. And, you know, Marmas' ultimate overall anyway is just not a strong ultimate, right? If we go to his ultimate here, decrease defense-related stats, and this obviously scales up based on the dupes. But defense-related stats, I mean, you know, if you get that off turn 2, sure, but like what content are you going to use that in, guys? It's just not really realistic. So definitely lower priority for Marmas right there. Moving on to Guilthunder's Holy Relic. This is going to increase the hero's resistance, crit defense by 4% for each orb in the hero's ultimate move gauge, and increase it by an additional 20% if completely filled. Now, I'm actually going to go over this one with Hraesvelgr and Grimoires, guys, because they're all three the same. It just depends on the character. This one's going to be related, attack-related stats for Hraesvelgr. Grimoire's going to have the HP-related stats, and then Guilthunder has the defense-related stats with resistance, you know, crit res and crit defense. So overall, none of these are going to be worth. They're all low priority. The reason why I say that is because none of these characters are even good right now. None of the Guilthunders are good. None of the Hraesvelgrs are good. And both the Grimoires right now are just not the greatest, guys. So yeah, all three of these Holy Relics are going to be low priority. Even though they do benefit for giving the character extra, you know, related stats, it's just not enough to warrant you actually running the character. So I think these are going to be pretty low priority overall. Alright, now moving on to Slater's Holy Relic here, guys. This one's going to be if a critical strike occurs from the hero's skill use on an enemy, the hero's attack is increased by 15%, limit of 5 times. Now, this one's actually solid because you can run this Slater right here on, on like event boss content, right? Where you're lowering the enemy's critical resistance, so you guarantee crit. You have Roxy on the team, so, you know, you're going to be getting the extra damage past the initial hit. And then also with that, you're also going to be getting the attack increase from the Relic itself. So, actually not a bad Holy Relic, definitely mid to high tier depending on, you know, how much you're using Slater. Moving on to Zariras' Holy Relic, guys. In PvP, if a critical strike does not occur when the hero attacks an enemy, the hero's damage dealt is increased by the amount equal to crit chance. Now, this is a very counterintuitive Holy Relic. It's just not good, guys. This character has very, very high crit chance, but nowadays in PvP, you're probably going to be missing those crits anyway, but you're not using this character in PvP. It's just, you're just not, right? Like, this is Zariras we're talking about. So this is definitely a very low priority Holy Relic in my opinion, just not going to be that crazy. And then for the final Holy Relic here, guys, for the bird video, is going to be Draus. Now, this one's going to increase allies attack by 20% of the hero's defense at the start of the battle, and in my opinion, guys, it's going to be a very low priority Holy Relic. So overall, guys, in terms of the relics that we talked about, the #1 Holy Relic that you guys need to be making is going to be Megelda. Now, the other ones that I recommended that are very high priority were going to be the Merlin one right here. You have, if we actually scroll up here as well, you got this regular Arthur, and yeah, the rest of them is kind of just, you know, if it fits your needs, you do it, and then if not, then it's not going to be worth, in my opinion. So yeah, guys, I would say those are the main priority ones, and then also obviously Valenti's Holy Relic, very, very good as well. Yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below in terms of the Holy Relic priority for the bird, and let me know if you guys are making any of these Holy Relics or which ones you're going to be deciding to make on your account. So that's going to be it for the video. I hope you guys did enjoy it, and I'm going to see you guys on the next video, man. Peace out. Have a great rest of your day, guys. See you later, man.